They say, when two elephants fight, it is the grass that suffers, but in my homeland, it was not elephants that fought, it was brothers who forgot they came from the same womb. My name is Bako Danlai. I come from Jos, in the heart of Plateau State, Nigeria, where the hills are green, the air is sweet, and the people once danced to the same drum. That was before September 7th, 2001, the day the earth turned red and the sky learned to cry blood. Jos was a city of laughter. The market at Terminus was a rainbow of tribes: Baram, Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, Afizari. We traded, we joked, we lived. My father, a gentleman with strong hands, was a bricklayer. He always said, if the left hand washes the right, both will be clean. We lived beside Malam Yusuf, a Hausa tailor. His wife, Mama Zara, used to bring my mother tuwo and soup. We were one people until the whispers began. At first, it was small talk of indigenes and settlers. Then came the leaflets, the sermons, the hate that grew like weeds after rain. My father would shake his head and say, when the drums of war sound, it is the innocent who dance to death. But nobody listened. It was a Friday, September 7th, 2001. The sun was lazy, and the muezzin's call to prayer floated gently over the town. A misunderstanding broke out near St. Michael's Junction. A young Christian woman tried to cross a Muslim prayer line. Voices rose, hands flew, stones followed. By sunset, Jos was burning. Shops that once sold bread now sold death and fear. Mosques, churches, homes all gone in a night. I remember hiding under the bed as gunfire echoed. My mother whispered Psalm 91 through her tears. Outside, we heard the screams of our neighbors, people we had eaten with, laughed with, shared salt with. They say, war has no eyes. That night, I learned it also has no ears. When the morning came, Jos was no longer Jos. Smoke rose from the horizon like a second sunrise. Bodies lay on the road, some we knew, some too burnt to recognize. My father was gone. He had gone out to look for my elder sister when the shooting began. We found him 2 days later, near the bridge, his body charred, his Bible still clutched in his hand. My mother wailed until her voice broke. She said, "A tree without roots cannot stand." I was 17. That day, my childhood ended. Amidst the ashes of that chaos came a man called Captain Zubair, a soldier from nowhere and everywhere. He spoke like thunder and walked like smoke. He promised safety, peace, and justice. But his eyes were the eyes of a lion that had tasted blood. He gathered the youths, gave them guns, and said, "Defend your land. Do not let them kill you again." Fear turned into fury. The same boys who once played football on dusty streets now carried rifles taller than their dreams. And I joined them. Yes, I Bako, the bricklayer's son. Because when fire burns your home, your heart becomes flame too. For months, we moved through the city like ghosts. We burned houses that once sheltered us. We killed men who once shared our bread. We said we were avenging the dead, but each revenge only created more graves. I remember one night, we surrounded a house. Inside, a family was hiding. Someone shouted, "They are the enemy." I kicked the door open. And there she was, Zara, the daughter of our old neighbor, Malam Yusuf, the same Zara who used to bring us tuwo. Her eyes met mine, trembling. She whispered, "Bako." "It's me." The world stopped. My hands shook. I dropped my gun, but the others did not. They dragged her out. The last thing I heard was her scream. That night, I ran into the bush and wept until the dawn broke. I realized then we were no longer fighting enemies, we had become them. By 2003, the fighting slowed. The city was divided by invisible walls, Christians here, Muslims there. The once beautiful Joes became a patchwork of fear. I returned home to find my mother sitting alone before our burnt house. Her hair had turned white, her eyes hollow. She said quietly, "Son, the fire you start to burn your enemy will also burn your own heart." I dropped to my knees and cried. She took my hands and said, "It is not too late to rebuild." And so I began again, brick by brick, house by house, not just for myself, but for all those who lost everything. I built homes for widows, dug wells, and planted mango trees in memory of the dead. Each tree was a name, each brick a prayer. By 2015, Joe's had changed once more. Children laughed again in the streets. But beneath the laughter, the scars remained invisible, silent, permanent. I sometimes visit the old bridge where my father fell. I pour libation and whisper, "Father, we are trying. We are learning again that peace has no tribe." I see Zara's face sometimes in my dreams, her eyes forgiving, her voice saying, "The river forgets nothing, but the heart can choose to heal." They say, when fire burns the forest, the ground becomes fertile again. And so, from our ashes, we began to grow. Joe still stands, different, wiser. A city that learned that hatred is a disease that eats its host first. And I, Baco, still tell this story not to reopen wounds, but to remind us that peace must be fed daily, like a child who will die if left hungry. Because in Africa, if the truth is buried, the earth will crack open to reveal it. And when the drums of hatred beat again, remember the ashes of Joe's, and remember that fire does not know who is right or wrong. It only knows how to burn. The ashes still speak, and they are watching. Thank you for listening to this story. If it moved you, please consider sharing it. Subscribe for more stories that need to be told. Let's keep the conversation for peace alive.